Good morning. I'm talking to Andy Ridley, who's the CEO of Citizens of the Great Barrier Reef Foundation. How are you this morning, Andy?
Yeah, good, thanks, mate.
Good stuff. Could you tell us what you do?
Yeah, I'm in the process of setting up what I hope is going to be a pretty amazing organisation called Citizens. And the idea behind it is that, as many of you will have read or will know, the reef has been under a lot of stress from climate change and from other challenges. And the aspiration behind Citizens is to engage the world in what do we do about it. And you can go out on the reef today. You'll see beautiful coral. You'll see some bleaching. But be under no illusion that these pressures are going to get worse. And so, Citizens set up to act on that.
And how are you going to go about that?
Yeah, there's sort of two directions that look at it. So the first is direct intervention, and amongst many other organisations, it's really how do we do a really massively scaled up approach at reef restoration and ensuring that kind of build as much resilience into the system as possible, and do that in a way that we can share that with the world, so other reef systems will be able to apply the same measures. And then the second piece is, it's climate change, the big driver. It's a global issue. How do we think about the reef as a point of inspiration and mobilisation to people around the world to take action against climate change? And I can get into the specifics with that as well if you want.
Sure. As an individual, how can we help?
Well, as an individual, on the reef or around the world?
Or both. Well, let's talk about the Great Barrier Reef, because that's the one that's important to us here in Australia.
Yeah, look, there's already many projects up and down the reef, but actually what hasn't happened before is that to sort of take a look at what's everyone doing. How can we apply citizen science across that? How can we maximise the efforts, even using operators that are out there? I mean, this is already happening in certain places, but I think what's going to happen as we confront the challenges that we have is that everyone's going to be playing a much greater role. So we're at the beginning of this at the moment.
Okay.
But I can see the engagement both of citizens who are coming to visit the reef, obviously the people who operate on the reef, and all the scientists and the researchers, coming together in a much more scalable way.
Okay. I've heard on the grapevine that if I'm a youth traveller travelling up to the Great Barrier Reef, I can plant a bit of coral and watch that grow over the years, or come back and see that grow. And would I make a donation? Is that how it works?
Look, at the moment, that probably isn't happening too much. I don't think that's happening too much. But I think as we try and work out, and I say we as in a lot of organisations are working on this, and Citizens is sort of, I hope, an umbrella for some of this activity.
Yeah.
I think there will become more and more sort of the volunteerism that you can do to do that. But I mean, what's needed is a really scaled up effort, a moonshot approach to how do we look after the reef. I think that will become more and more common as a traveller for people to be able to do that.
Excellent. And is this a government organisation, or is this privately funded?
No, it's an independent foundation. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And do you think governments will get behind this?
The aim of Citizens is to have every party behind it that we possibly can, and not just here, but around the world. In fact, on Monday I was out on the reef with 70 ambassadors from countries all over the planet, from China, from UK, from Canada, just showing them the reef and sort of showing both the challenges and its beauty. Yeah.
And how can trade help?
Look, I think for all the challenges we have, this is also an opportunity to show what a sector can do that can be game-changing, can be world-changing. And I have no doubt, and having working out of Cairns, you can see it, that the passion and the dedication to the reef isn't just, obviously it's for business, but it's also, people love this thing in a pretty amazing way. So the question for us is, how do we capture that energy? How do we use that passion to mobilise as much as possible? So operators, trade, recruit as many citizens as you can, engage in the project in its own right, become citizens as organisations, and over the next year, 2 years, we'll be rolling out more and more opportunities to engage.
And how do we follow you? How do we follow what's happening on the Great Barrier Reef?
Well, sign up on citizensgbr.com, citizensgbr.org. And you can follow me at Andy Ridley as well.
Okay.
And we'll be rolling out a whole load of stuff over the next 3 to 4 months. So we're really getting ready for launch.
So it's citizensgbr.org.
Citizensgbr.org.
That's excellent.
Thanks,
Thank you
mate.
very much for your time today, Andy.
That's a pleasure.